Welcome back to Retiring Today. I'm here with Chawn Honkomp and Loren Merkle, and we're trying to answer the question, guys, should you retire together? Should couples retire together? Of course, it's not a simple yes or no. There's some things to consider. So we're talking about the 8 questions to talk about your spouse with. And Loren, question number 4, how does one of us working 3 to 5 more years boost our retirement? And what's neat, and what I've seen you and Chawn both do, is you've mapped this out for people because they want to know. They want to know, what does our retirement picture look like if we both retire now or if one of us keeps working? And so it can be powerful for one person to work a few more years.
It can be really powerful, and we can show that in a very visual way through the retirement plan and using some of the technology that we have. But what we do know is compound interest is an extremely powerful tool when we're talking about how you build your wealth. And if we think about all the doubling periods that you have over the course of your accumulation years, it's usually that last couple doubling periods that make the most impact as far as how much money you have for your retirement. Because if you think about it, the latter stages of your accumulation years is where you have built your most wealth. And most people, as they're accumulating, would anticipate to double their portfolio somewhere between 5 to 7 years with accumulations, and depending upon how much risk you're taking. So if you decide to work an extra 3 to 5 years, that could potentially be one extra doubling period that you could see your wealth balloon prior to making that final entry into the retirement year. So if we're talking about maybe you have a $500,000 portfolio, but you work an extra 3 to 5 years, maybe it doubles to $1 million. Now that's substantially more than if you were to retire 3 to 5 years earlier. So those are all the considerations that we take into account, and those are some of the different scenarios that we can visually show you when it comes to making that plan. What if you do this? What does that look like? What if you do this? What does it look like? And that's the kind of information that pre-retirees really appreciate to help them make these big, important decisions.
Yeah, and if you keep working, Chawn, we talk about there being kind of 3 triple benefits to that. You keep paying into Social Security, which should increase your payment. You increase your retirement savings, and you don't have to start withdrawing your retirement money as soon.
Yeah, that additional time frame of working can be very powerful to the plan. Developing that plan, we can often, or not often, but that is part of the plan. We illustrate, can give you a feel for what does it look like. You know, the main concern oftentimes is, do you have enough? Do you have enough income? Are you not going to run out of income or money before you run out of time? Showing you that illustration, but then that power of working 1 additional year or 2, 3, anywhere up to 5 additional years. Just like you mentioned, Molly, you can allow that Social Security benefit to grow if you're still working, and it's somewhere in that age range of 62 to 70 when you can elect Social Security. Maybe you're choosing to work another year or 2 and get you to that age 65. That allows you to not spend as much on health care. So that's going to give you that benefit. And then allowing those savings to grow. Again, that power of that time can be very valuable. And even as we show you those illustrations, your plan may look really good, but we know there's always risks out there that we're continuing to manage to. We don't know what the markets are going to do. We don't know what tax rate risk, any of that. But any additional time that you may choose to work can just make your plan look that much more powerful and more strong.
And question number 5 is, how will we pay for health care? Loren, when people sit down with you, this is one of their biggest concerns as they head towards retirement.
Especially if you plan on retiring prior to Medicare age 65, because the open healthcare market costs are so extreme compared to what they used to be. A married couple might pay $2,500 a month just from their healthcare standpoint. So how you afford your healthcare needs to be built into your plan so you can see how you can afford your healthcare. It's one thing for us to say, it's going to be okay, you can retire at 63 and you're still going to be able to afford it. It's another thing for you to be able to visually see, this is where this money's going to come from to pay for healthcare. Here's the impact it's going to have on the rest of your retirement. And one of the questions that people have to answer for yourself is, how much is enough? How much is enough? And part of the value of that plan, even with the healthcare side, is, do you have enough? And seeing how you're going to pay for all these different types of expenses, especially that the costly healthcare, can help you answer that question. Yes, you have enough, or no, you don't feel comfortable with what with the amount you have, and maybe you need another half or full doubling period.
Question number 6, what about the emotional part of retirement? So I've spent enough time with Loren and Chawn to know that they're both numbers guys. I mean, Chawn spent a lot of his working years as a CPA. I mean, crunching numbers they both love. But one thing I also know about both of you is you're good listeners. And it's kind of the side of like the financial industry that I don't think people understand. So you sit down with couples a lot and you have to talk about emotional stuff. It's just part of what retiring is, and I think it's something you both do really well, but it's difficult. So what about the emotional part of retirement? What's the part that sometimes comes out in these meetings, or that you would advise couples to talk about before making this decision?
I like to personally think I excel at the emotional side. We just have so much fun having these conversations. Molly knows me better than that, right? Loren and I are here to be a great relationship and a resource for all of our families. But yeah, this certainly is part of it. The emotional side of it, you have to be ready for retirement. You don't want to stumble into it and maybe figure out that it isn't for you, right? So we've got different individuals that they know they're ready, they're excited for it, they have their hobbies and passions picked out. We have other individuals that maybe they have a date set, but then they go beyond it. So emotionally, they're not ready for it. Some of the thoughts and questions you have to ask yourself, well, what is the end game? At some point in plan, going back to Loren's comment, how much is enough? At some point, you're trading time for money. Right? We know time becomes a valuable asset as we move to that retirement stage of life. Obviously, the money, the financial picture is an important part as well, but the time is valuable as you have that plan for retirement. Again, being emotionally ready, having that plan, knowing what you're going to want to do, knowing what your spouse wants to do, that's a big part of making sure that you're ready for that stage of life.
That reminds me, I was meeting with a family just this week, a couple, and they were telling me how his 50-year class reunion was coming up. And they were next week leaving for this 50-year class reunion, and he was kind of chuckling. It's like, there's only one person going that I was actually friends with. There's like 60 people that were expected to show up, and he said there's one person that I actually was friends with in school. And this is one of the phenomenons that you do experience as you age, is your social circles do get smaller. And part of your plan should be, how do you maintain a social level that is healthy for you? And this is why I'm so proud of the Elevated Living series that we've created. I mean, when we think about retirement, there's the financial side, which is what we spend a lot of time talking about, but then there's the emotional, there's the health side of it. And so the Elevated Living series that we've created involves a caregiving circle. There's a lot of our families that they are caregivers, whether it's for their spouse or it's a parent or somebody, and the toll that it takes on them is pretty substantial. So we have created a social circle of people in a like situation where they can just communicate. What are they going through? What are their concerns? And then there's other things that we've created to help build retiree social circles, because the social aspect of it is so important when we're talking about the health and the emotional side of it. The more opportunity you have to maintain or even build your social circles as you go through retirement, the different phases, the slow go and the no go years, I think the more purpose you're going to find in your overall retirement. Thank you for watching this clip of Retiring Today, and don't forget to subscribe. If you have questions about your retirement plan, take advantage of the complimentary 15-minute retirement checkup phone call.